Am I the antagonist for blowing up on my mom and brother after they said they don't like the way my girlfriend dresses? I am a 29-year-old man, and I have been in a relationship with my 27-year-old girlfriend for 5 years. I truly believe she's the one and have recently been considering proposing to her. However, tensions arose between our families due to a recent family gathering. During my 26-year-old brother's girlfriend's birthday party at their house, my mother and brother pulled me aside in the kitchen to confront me. They told me that my girlfriend should dress more modestly and expressed their issue with her not wearing a bra. Personally, I hadn't really noticed this before as I've been with her for a long time, even though she weighs around 160 pounds. My mother pointed out that her breasts are too big for her not to wear a bra, and my brother mentioned that his girlfriend has had problems with it too. According to my brother, it has caused multiple conflicts between the two of them, as she's concerned that his eyes will wander and secretly worried that he's attracted to overweight women. However, I've always seen my girlfriend as having an average build for her weight and never considered her to be overweight. Upon hearing this, I couldn't help but feel angry on behalf of my girlfriend. She has mentioned in passing before that she dislikes wearing bras because they make her chest feel tight and uncomfortable. I simply responded to my mother and brother with an indifferent okay. I then left the kitchen, fetched my girlfriend from the party, and we left for home. A few minutes later, my brother called me asking why we had left. I shared my feelings about their conversation, expressing that I believe my girlfriend's body shape and choice of clothing are personal matters and not anyone else's business. I also stated that if people wanted to be creepy and stare at her, it was not her fault. My mother then got on the phone and insisted that my girlfriend needs to show respect for others and have self-respect when dressing up. It's worth mentioning that my girlfriend was wearing a t-shirt and jeans at the birthday party. My mother argued that her weight and body make people uncomfortable, so she should dress in a way that accommodates this discomfort. In response, I emphasized how important it is for my girlfriend to feel comfortable in the clothes she wears. If she cannot be comfortable around my family, I suggested we should avoid seeing them altogether. This led to a heated argument between the three of us, with my brother and mother yelling at me over the phone. While I don't believe I am at fault, I wanted an outside perspective to determine if I'm overreacting. So, am I the jerk for reacting strongly to my mother and brother's disapproval of my girlfriend's choice of clothing? Your mom and brother are out of line for trying to dictate how your girlfriend dresses and shaming her for not wearing a bra. It is her choice to dress in a way that makes her comfortable, and her body image is not up for debate. Additionally, their comments about her weight and insinuations about your brother's supposed attraction to overweight women are completely inappropriate. You did the right thing by standing up for your girlfriend and expressing your anger towards your family. It's important to support and defend your partner against unfair criticism. Cutting ties with toxic family members may be a good decision if they continue to disrespect your girlfriend and her choices. Remember, your girlfriend's comfort and self-respect should always come first, and you have every right to defend her against unjust criticism. Am I the antagonist for canceling a hometown visit during my father's birthday because I received news that my estranged sibling will be around? I've been estranged from my sibling for almost 3 years, with a brief reconciliation that went south quickly. He has always vacillated between worshiping me and subjecting me to unacceptable treatment/manipulation in a way that has affected my relationship with my parents. He has borderline personality disorder, BPD, that he has stopped treatment for, and I am his favorite person. Look it up if you're unfamiliar with the concept. It's not fun. I got into therapy last year and delved deep into how I've played the role of the weakling/emotional punching bag within my family. There were 2 recent times in particular that he has not issued apologies for, and one of them involves completely ruining my own wedding for me early last year. I decided that it was high time for me to step off the roller coaster and went no contact with him. My parents are used to me being a pushover and wanting to keep the peace, so they have tried to foster a reconciliation with him, babying him for being in crisis while he has all resources available to him, and how he misses me a lot. We briefly made good again. No apology though, only for him to subject me to an episode of emotional terrorism a few months later. My parents no longer had a leg to stand on, as the second episode was kind of out of control. After burning through an inheritance by traveling the world for a year, my sibling and his wife no longer have a place to go, and will be moving into my parents' house for a few months until they find their footing. This came as a shock to me, and I immediately started fretting about my visit, as when I booked it, I had zero clue he would be around. My parents are hell-bent that this time he is truly remorseful for how things happened with me, that he has been going through a hard time, as if I haven't. I am happily married, doing well in my career, and making big steps towards long-term sobriety. The idea of introducing my sibling into my life again right now makes me spiral. I have chosen not to visit later this month, as I have no evidence suggesting that things will be different with my sibling, and I feel alarmed at how my parents have, consciously or not, centered his emotions over the amount of suffering I've endured. My parents are sad and subtly trying to reel me back in by over the top swearing how proud of me they are, that they respect me as much as my brother and so on. I love them dearly, but this is all coming a little too late. and I need to protect myself first at this stage in life. I feel like an a-hole because my parents and I were both looking forward to celebrating my father's birthday, and now he will be disappointed that I'm not around. It is important to prioritize your own well-being and mental health. You have made significant progress in therapy and recognize the toxic dynamic between you and your sibling. It is understandable that you do not want to reintroduce him into your life at this time, especially considering the past incidents and lack of remorse or apologies from him. Your parents may be trying to reconcile, but they should also acknowledge the suffering you have endured and respect your decision to protect yourself. It is unfortunate that your absence might disappoint your father, but taking care of yourself is necessary. Am I the antagonist for locking our bathroom doors when certain male guests are over and using my reasoning in an argument? This is such a frustrating situation that I wish I didn't have to seek the opinions of strangers to determine if I am in the wrong or not. Every time my fiancé's younger brothers, 12 and 11 years old, visit, they consistently pee all over the toilet seat and floor. I've brought this up with my fiancé, urging him to speak with his parents and brothers each time it happens. I suggested that they either sit down when using the toilet or refrain from using our bathroom altogether. I believe that I shouldn't have to clean up after boys their age in my own home. While their mother may be fine cleaning up after them in their own house, I find it disgusting. Recently, after they had left our home, I went to use the bathroom and discovered that one of them had peed with the toilet lid down. As a result, urine had splattered all over the toilet, its surroundings, the floor, and even seeped into the grout of the tile. It was a complete mess. I was furious and showed my fiancé, who supports me in this matter. He called his parents, who assured us that they would address the issue with their sons. I do not personally bring up this matter with his parents, as it seems they do not care about my concerns. I suspect this may be because we do not want children, which might be a significant factor. Reluctantly, I cleaned up the mess and had a discussion with my fiancé, establishing that his brothers are no longer permitted to use our bathrooms when they visit. I instructed that their only option would be to go outside in the yard if they really needed to use the bathroom. I also decided to lock our bathroom doors whenever they are over, as they have already received plenty of opportunities to change their behavior. A few days later, my fiancé's parents called me and started arguing, claiming that their sons are not dogs that need to be taken outside to relieve themselves. I responded that if they are going to treat my bathroom like it's outside, then they will be treated like dogs that require house training. The argument escalated and I grew tired of it, so I made a statement about their desire for more grandchildren and how my decision not to have kids is connected to the way they let boys in their family get away with anything simply because they are boys. I expressed my concern about raising a son who disrespects women for no valid reason. I also mentioned that I admire my fiancé for being different from the rest of his family as he respects women and doesn't treat me like his mother. The call abruptly ended. My fiancé continues to support me because he recognizes the way his brothers are being raised, favoring boys and disliking girls in the family. Unfortunately, he cannot change the situation. However, the rest of his family is now bombarding me with messages, claiming that my remarks were disrespectful and that I should show respect to my future in-laws. They believe this situation is needlessly hostile. While I feel that I deserve the same level of respect, I wonder if I may have taken things too far. Am I the antagonist for bringing up those reasons and for insisting that his brothers go outside? You have repeatedly addressed the issue with your fiancé and his parents, and it seems like nothing has been done to rectify the situation. It is understandable to be frustrated with constantly cleaning up after someone else's mess, especially when the solution is as simple as sitting down on the toilet. Locking your bathroom doors and suggesting they use the yard as an alternative is a logical consequence for their consistent disregard of basic hygiene and cleanliness. Bringing up your reasons for not wanting kids and expressing your concerns about the way the boys in the family are being raised may have been a bit harsh, but it seems like frustration got the better of you in the heat of the argument. However, it is important to have open and honest communication about these issues and the impact they have on your relationship and living space. Your fiancé supports your stance, so it is fair to say that your perspective is valid. The reaction from the rest of the family might be a result of defensiveness or the feeling that you disrespected your soon-to-be in-laws, but ultimately, your concerns about cleanliness and respect in your own home should be taken seriously. Am I the antagonist for not delaying my wedding so my sister-in-law can marry first? This may get downvoted into oblivion, but I need answers. It all started on New Year's when I, 28 years old, returned from my girlfriend's, 28 years old, place abroad. My sister-in-law, who is 22 years old, let's call her Jessica, and my brother fetched me from the airport to reveal that they got engaged and were planning to marry in September. Despite having mixed feelings since Jessica has a history of causing trouble, I congratulated them. The news coincidentally came right when I was preparing to propose to my girlfriend, whom I would be flying back to shortly after. We had been entertaining the idea of getting married for a while, especially since the 2.5 years of forced separation during COVID had been a nightmare neither of us wanted to repeat. Considering our different nationalities, getting married was necessary for us to get a visa to live together. Essentially, all our future plans depended on it. I proposed in late March and we started researching how long everything would take. The answer, long. So our choice was simple. Get married soon, preferably before September, but only on paper with no big ceremony or party until we live together. Knowing that Jessica is very emotional, I expected that this decision would cause stress. So I sat them down, explained the situation, and told them that I really hoped they would understand. While my brother nodded in approval, Jessica remained silent. That was until she got home and sent me a lengthy text about how she would feel like something was being stolen from them if they weren't marrying first, and that we would have to delay our plans until after September. I didn't tell my fiancé about this right away to spare her the stress, but I needed to process what happened. So I talked to my mom, who gathered us together in an attempt to settle the dispute. Jessica stormed out of the room crying that day. My brother then politely asked us to leave, knowing that she would stay in her room. Fast forward 6 weeks. I had moved on from the incident and was ready to forget when Jessica sent me another long text, breaking her silence. She called me rude and mama's lil boy, saying I needed to give her special treatment because of her childhood trauma and that I hurt her. She indirectly threatened a long family feud if I wouldn't apologize and delay the wedding. Since this wasn't the first time she pressured me to get what she wanted and I had made my point clear, I didn't reply. Instead, I tried to talk to my brother, which took another week because Jessica wouldn't let him. I then told him that I wasn't going to change my plans, found her message absurd, and certainly wasn't going to apologize. Over the next 2 months, Jessica would send a text every 1 to 2 weeks, getting more aggressive. She even blocked me despite me saying nothing, and then unblocked me to write more. She also texted my mom and my fiancé about me, even though my fiancé doesn't have contact with Jessica. Additionally, she sent my brother as a messenger to put even more pressure on me. I eventually had enough and blocked her for good. Am I the antagonist? You have the right to prioritize your own marriage and the practical reasons behind it. Jessica's emotional reactions and constant harassment are unreasonable and manipulative. Blocking her was a reasonable decision to protect your mental well-being. Am I the antagonist for not letting my sister-in-law practice her styles on my hair? I need your opinion on a situation involving my sister-in-law, whom I will refer to as Janice, and myself. I'm 19 years old, while Janice is 32. My hair has always held significant meaning for me, as I am adopted and my mom, who is not black, went to great lengths to learn how to care for my natural black hair. She did an amazing job teaching me how to care for and style my hair by the time I was 13. With the help of YouTube and my favorite stylist, Rita, I have learned various styles, from basic protective styles to installing my own wigs. Through experimentation, I have also found the products that work best for my hair growth. My hair has grown down my back, which for those familiar with black hair is quite an accomplishment. Janice has known me since I was 5 and is aware of the emotional significance I attach to my hair. However, she frequently makes unsolicited comments about how I should style my hair and questions my choices. She has even implied that Rita may not be as knowledgeable as I believe her to be. Janice seems to base her expertise on having lived in a diverse area of the northern Midwest for about 3 years, where she was neighbors with a Somali couple and their children. The most recent issue arises from Janice's insistence on practicing hairstyles on my hair. Despite my multiple explanations that I am uncomfortable with allowing inexperienced individuals to experiment with my hair, she continues to make comments and send me videos on Instagram, asking if she can try them out on me. It makes me feel as though I am being treated like a petting zoo. During fall break, when my entire family was gathered in the living room, Janice once again started bothering me about letting her practice on my hair. I reached my breaking point and told her that if she wanted to practice, she should purchase one of those practice hairheads from Amazon or find a zoo animal, as she was treating me like one. Janice did not take this well and did not speak to me for the rest of the evening. The following day, I received a text from her claiming that I had embarrassed her and set a bad example for my nieces. To make matters worse, my brother, Janice's husband, has also chimed in, stating that I should allow her to mess with my nappy hair to make her feel better. Fortunately, my parents support me, while my 3 other brothers and sister-in-laws have chosen to stay out of the situation. I'm feeling quite uncertain about whether or not I did something wrong. So, I ask, was I wrong for becoming upset with her and declining her request to experiment with my hair? It is clear that your sister-in-law is not respecting your boundaries when it comes to your hair. You have clearly communicated your discomfort with her experimenting on your hair, and she continues to disregard your feelings. Your response might have been harsh, but it seems like it was a result of frustration and feeling disrespected. Your hair is your choice, and no one should make you feel like a petting zoo. Your sister-in-law and brother are in the wrong for not understanding and supporting you. Am I the antagonist for refusing to let my stepdad pay for my wedding? I am engaged to my fiancé, Raf. Raf and I are paying for our wedding ourselves. That was always something we planned on doing, and we have saved for a number of years to afford a nice wedding. Ever since my dad died when I was 6, I knew that in the future, if I got married, my granddad, my dad's dad, would be walking me down the aisle and dancing with me in my dad's place. Honestly, I think even if my dad were alive, I'd have both my granddad and him, because granddad and I always had a special relationship. When I played weddings as a kid, I used to have both of them walk me down the aisle LOL. I was upfront about asking my granddad to my mom and stepdad. They didn't take the news great. My stepdad wanted to be the one who performed as the father of the bride, and he told me this. He didn't like that I was giving my mom and him focus as a couple, but not him as my dad. He said this because I arranged for a special dance for the two of them, as well as a special toast to both of them during the wedding. He said that after being in my life since I was 7, when I met him, and being my stepdad since I was 9, when he and my mom got married officially, he feels he is more deserving of the role. I told him I understood he was upset, but I had made my decision. He said it was childish to stick to a decision I made as a baby and never consider alternatives. When I didn't give in, they got a little huffy, and I decided to leave to give them some space. Then my stepdad came to me and said I should let him pay for the wedding. This came out of nowhere, honestly, but I knew instantly what he was trying to do. I knew that if I took his money, I wouldn't be able to say no to him. It would be entitled as hell to let him pay but not give him the role he wants and the jobs he wants to do. It also wouldn't have felt right to me because I never went to him for anything. So it would have felt like I was taking advantage. And he's never going to be my dad. He can't buy that from me. So I stuck to my convictions and I said, "Thanks for offering, but we're good. We have the money." He went on a long rant about how traditionally the father of the bride always pays for the wedding and how tradition is important. He said it was bad luck to pay for your own wedding. I told him we were a more modern couple and had chosen to pay for our own wedding with no financial contributions from anyone. He was angry and he left. Ever since then, he and my mom have said I disrespected him immensely by denying him the right to pay. Mom brought up how he comes from a very traditional and conservative family and that it is shameful for him not to be paying for everything. She told me he had been looking forward to paying for my special day, and I threw his more than generous offer in his face. My stepdad told me I'd ruined the whole wedding for him now. Also, I don't want both my granddad and stepdad to walk me down the aisle and dance. Am I the asshole? It is your wedding, and ultimately your decision on who walks you down the aisle and fulfills the traditional roles. It is understandable that your stepdad may feel hurt and disappointed, but he should not try to guilt or manipulate you into changing your decision. You were upfront about your intentions from the start, and it is unfair for him to expect you to change your plans to accommodate his desires. Additionally, it is commendable that you did not accept his offer to pay for the wedding as you wanted to maintain your independence and not feel obligated to give him a role that you did not want. Your stepdad's focus on traditional roles and expectations does not negate the significance and importance of your relationship with your granddad. Ultimately, it is your special day, and you should prioritize what feels right to you. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.